ultimate guide to anything Filipino in Las Vegas. This is the Las Vegas Filipino Resource Guide radio show on PHLV Radio.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Las Vegas Filipino Resource Guide radio show here on PHLV Radio. I'm your host, Gilbert Glorioso, and I'm going to go ahead and bring on Bernie Benito and Loni Andal, my business partners, and of course, our hosts here on Las Vegas Filipino Resource Guide radio show. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hey.
Hey guys, how you guys doing?
Okay. So, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, good evening to everyone, to our listeners and viewers. We have a special guest for tonight, and we will be talking with our local licensed Humana sales agent today, Andal, and she will be explaining more of this business that she has as we go on. Okay, Anna, take the floor, please. Introduce yourself more.
Hello, good evening. My name is Anna Ladao. I'm a local licensed sales agent. I work for Humana here in Las Vegas. I am the agent that would go out to meet you if you need a Filipino translator, somebody who speaks Tagalog. And my job is to make sure that I explain different Medicare insurance plans that we offer with Humana. So whether it's a Medicare Advantage plan, a supplemental insurance, or prescription drug plan, I'm your local agent here. And I'm happy to answer your questions tonight. So thank you for the invitation. And we're a really big supporter of your team. And thank you for all that you do for the Filipino community.
Okay, so Loni, any questions?
I'm the one who always asks, how long have you been in the insurance business, and what did you do before then to make the switch?
My background really is in banking. So I did 10 years of banking. I was a senior mortgage executive. I worked for HSBC. I worked for Citibank. I worked for Bank of America as well. And then I did the transition with Humana, or selling Medicare Advantage plans, because I caught myself in the banking industry where sometimes it was so cold. You know, I'd have somebody come in here trying to ask for their 35 overdraft fees be returned to them. And it was like a blatant no. And I would feel so horrible that my stress levels were very high working in banking. And I had a friend who was working for Humana, and I looked at her and she was happy all the time, such a positive disposition. And she told me one time, she goes, you know, we don't have anyone who speaks Tagalog in our team. And I told her I was born and raised in the Philippines. And she said, come work for us. And I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? She doesn't seem like she has any problem at all. She seems happy. So I looked into the industry. Personally, what I truly, truly want is that I'm in an industry where I am not forced to sell. Really, my job is to educate the people that I meet and to provide them options. And if I talk to you and you tell me, you know, my doctor's not in your network, I would be the first to tell you, if you're not willing to change doctors, then we might not be the right fit for you. So it's not one of those pressure sales where I'm going to force you to sign up with us. That's not what we stand up for. And because of that, you know, I really like my job because you're not pressured to sell, right? It's doing the right thing for people. And so I've been with Humana now for 3.5 years. And I'm enjoying every minute of it. I mean, I'm not saying it because I work for Humana, but I really like what I do. I meet a lot of Filipinos, and so they send me when they need somebody who speaks Tagalog. And before, all I knew was Henderson. I've been living in Henderson for 17 years. And now I know North Las Vegas. I know different parts. I go to Pahrump sometimes. So it's fun. I've really enjoyed this journey. I've met all Mr. Benito, Gilbert, Miss Loni. I haven't had the opportunity to meet you, but I hope someday I would, face to face, right? But such a great Filipino community.
Yeah.
It sounds like you have a conversation. that's very rewarding for you.
Yeah,
Like you're happy doing this type of work.
I'll tell you this. I always share this story with people. One time I had to go to a home. Obviously, right now with COVID, we can't go to the homes, but I had to go to a home for a face to face appointment. And this was your typical Filipino home. It was a big home in Silverado Ranch, and maybe there were three families living in the house. And they said, I'm just saying the exact words they told me. They said, Anna, namatay si tatay for 17 hours. And I'm just like, what do you mean he died for 17 hours? And he says, well, he fell on the floor and we didn't know what to do. And they were afraid of the cost. How much would it be to send him to the emergency room? And they just had somebody in their family die. And they weren't, and they worked in the casino industry. So, they're hardworking Filipinos, but again, not aware of the options available to them. And so I had talked to them and told them to contact Medicaid. We gave them options. And, they're alive, they're healthy. And I think it's just so important for us to really educate our, kababayans, the Filipinos over here. Sometimes I meet so many people where they sign up for a plan. And I said, do you understand the plan that you signed up for? Tapos they're just laughing, no? Yes, yes. But they don't understand what they had signed up for. And they said, well, they told me to sign up for it. And I feel bad when I hear this because health insurance is so important, especially for the seniors, that you cannot just let somebody sign a paper without them understanding their options. And that's where I really enjoy my job, and I think I've been really successful in it because when I talk to people, they know I'm not there to force them. And again, it's giving them options. And I would have people come to me and refer their friends because they always tell me, Anna, you never pressured me. You explained to me my options. And I hope everyone I talk to would feel that way, that my job is really to explain options to them, to help them, find the right insurance plan for them. Sorry, I talk a lot.
Well, I
Okay.
here.
we want to know, why did you choose this type of work? And you said it all. It's rewarding. It makes you feel good at the end of the day. You feel like you've helped someone, not only educating but by caring. And that's the big plus on it, that you care that they get the right program, the right benefits. And most of them, if you say, do you know what your benefits are? No, but I signed.
Yes. And I see that a lot with, our more senior citizens where they get intimidated when somebody talks to them in English and they don't understand and they're just smiling because that's our nature, diba? We're Filipinos, we smile. Tapos we don't even know what we had signed up for. Who's your doctor? I don't even know. So I tell them, talk to people, explain it to them. I tell them, whatever benefits comes with it, use it, right? Call me if you have questions. Another thing that I see in this industry is where a lot of people are nice to their clients when they're signing them up.
Yeah.
Tapos when there's a problem already, they disappear. You
Yeah.
never hear from them. You talk to somebody and they say, well, I don't really know who my agent is. My clients know I will give you a call back if you have a question. If you can't set an appointment with the doctors, I always tell them, look, I'm not a magician. I can't say yes to everything, but I will work for you because that's what we do. If you sign up for us, you have an agent, that's your agent. Let them work for you. If we need to escalate an issue, that's something we can do. But there's like during this whole pandemic, there's been so many Filipinos from California moving to Las Vegas. And so, like, I personally have been so busy signing up people from California who's moving here to Vegas. And I'm happy that I work for a company that, again, doesn't push us out there to do face to face appointments, especially with COVID going on. So we've done a lot of changes where we can enroll people, we can do Zoom meetings, we can do WebEx meetings. We can enroll you over the phone or through the computer. So there's a lot of different ways to help our clients.
You touched on one point, and I manage a senior park community, and we had an agent in there, and he personified exactly what you said. He would sign people up, and then they'd come to me and they'd say, he was here, he signed me up, but he doesn't answer my phone call. So I had rescued another agent that came in who made himself very accessible, and they switched because they said, "Oh, I called him on a Saturday. Oh, he explained to me I was paying for coverage that I don't need. Woman is 79 years old. She doesn't need maternity coverage." So she was being signed on a full policy on things that she did not need. So the
I
people
mean,
that just signed,
like what I said, it's important for everyone to know that voice out your concerns, talk to your agent. Your agent's job is not just to sign you up. It's very competitive out there. I mean, there's a lot of insurance companies. I feel like you must take care of your clients and do what's right for them, because it's so easy to transfer to another, group or insurance, but taking care of clients is definitely the core of Humana. I'm not sure if you've heard the ads that we have. It says Humana Care. And again, our job is to make sure we listen to our clients and what's important to them. So, me personally, I talk to a lot of our Filipino clients. Um, Again, if they have any questions, concerns, call me and I'm more than happy to help.
we may all be switching our insurance now because you do a great presentation that people will be confident that you're available to them because you're the closest thing to a doctor, making them feel at ease that they've got the right plan.
I always tell my clients I'm not a doctor because they tell us everything and what they should do. But I think oftentimes people just want somebody to talk to, right? Again, asking the questions, what are my options out there? It's not,
Right.
sometimes I go to an event and I see people, come on, let's sign up for this. It's almost like a marketplace and just hurry and sign up. And really, that's not what it's all about. It's about helping people and making sure they're in the right plan. And again, it's a small industry. That's what I like about the whole Filipino community. You, this is what I tell people in Las Vegas. It's such a small town. Everybody will know who you are. And so if you do things the right way, people will hear about you, right? Same thing if you do something bad to people, people will hear about it. So
Hear it back.
yeah, that's how it is over here. You hear of restaurants closing because people were unhappy and all of that. So it's truly, truly important to take care of, each and every member that you have.
Well, you'll find out, which you evidently you have, that in the Filipino community, over 200,000 we have here in Las Vegas. It's like wildfire. We never needed a phone or text. Somehow, some way, to every
Exactly.
from Pahrump to Green Valley to Centennial Way, they'll all know. And word of mouth is very, very serious to be able to communicate. Oh, this is a good plan. This is a good person to see. She'll explain everything. And you walk away going, okay, yes, it costs, but at least I feel I got something for my money, that I'm covered.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
So your insurance, Anna, are they SMO or PPO?
So with Humana here in Las Vegas, we do offer Medicare Advantage plans. So there's HMO plans, PPO plans, prescription drug plans, and supplemental insurance as well. Another thing I'd like to share, a lot of people like to say, well, I want what my neighbor has, right? I want what she has and all that. And again, it goes back to we're not all cut the same. And when I say that, your needs could be different from your husband's needs or your mother's needs. And so just signing up for something without truly understanding what's really included in it, it's really important to sit down and ask every person you're talking to what's most important to you. Because even if you've been married for 25 years, what's important to the missus might not be important to the mister. But then oftentimes, what's important could be the same thing. But again, it's not a one size fits all. And so it's so important to ask the question, sit down, review medications, and what's truly important for each individual.
So it's really necessary that when you meet people, it has to be on one-on-one basis, right? It's more beneficial.
I talk to husbands and wives because the nice thing naman about Filipinos, with me, I have such a growing list of clients
Yeah.
because it's like if I enroll the husband, the wife will be there as well, right? Word of mouth. We talked about this earlier. But again, before you sign up for something, understand what your benefits are. Let them know what's important to you, the doctors you want to follow. That way, we're making sure we're signing you up in the right plan that truly fits you, right? The last thing you want is signing up for a plan because your friend said to sign up for it, and then you get to, something bad happens to you, and next thing you know, you don't know that you have to pay $450 for a hospital stay per night. So
Wow.
again, before signing up for something, it's really important kasi I really feel ang babait ng Filipino, smiling all the time, trying to accommodate. I remember when I would go to people's homes, they would always give me food. And I said, the first thing you tell me is I've gained weight and you're offering to give me, food. And I've met so many people. And again, it's so heartwarming to just meet all of these, this Filipino community, our community, because we're so giving to people. But remember to think of yourself too. What's important and not just trying to, please somebody in front of you. So.
So, on a personal level, before the COVID, what did you and your family do just to relax, kick off some steam, enjoy each other's company on your days off?
My husband and I lived in New York City prior to moving here to Las Vegas. And people ask me, well, why did you move to Las Vegas? My husband had gotten a good job offer over here. He works for Oracle. And that's why we had moved to Las Vegas. So I said, all the going out, the partying stage, we did that in New York. Here in Las Vegas, it truly has been just about our kids, our family. So we're a boring couple. I mean, literally, we spend all of our time with our children. We've lived in the Henderson neighborhood for 17 years. So, like what I said, interesting enough, I think I was a little spoiled because all I knew was Henderson. If it wasn't Anthem, it was Green Valley. So, when I started with this job and they would send me everywhere, I was shocked, but you know what? Now, honestly, I'm mayabang about it with my husband already because I'm like, I'm sure you don't know where that place is, and I send them to I go to all these different places now. Pero what I really love the most, I keep saying this over and over again because it's true. All the Filipinos that you meet over here, our community is strong, and it's such a big growing community in Vegas. I mean, I heard from somewhere, I'm not the expert in it, but somebody had said we're one of the larger minorities that's growing pretty fast here in Vegas. So just so many people over here, and to hear stories and all, just heartwarming.
Well, just to give you a little history, Bernie and I are like the pilgrims from 1971 of being the first Filipinos here in Las Vegas. And there had to be
Wow.
45 Filipinos in Vegas in 71. We have now, like I said, over 200,000 of 3 million people. So we
Mhm.
are definitely here.
Yeah.
It's not like a win. It's not that we made a choice to come here, live here. And watching it grow from the time that we were just a small group,
Mhm.
it's almost like we were like a private club to see where it is we're all over. We're not concentrated in one area of Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And we are part of the community. We are part of the growth. We're part of the business. We're not, secluded somewhere. We are involved in politics, finances, and with the COVID, we haven't had our events. Bernie is the king of events. He always would have all the events slated for the month. We know where we're going. What were we doing this Saturday? Just look at the calendar, and Bernie would have everything. So it's kind of sad for us because we are a very touchy-feely communication type of people. It's almost like we're being punished when we can't go out, hug someone. Oh, I haven't seen you in a long time. Now we just kind of, elbow, wave. It's a withdrawal because we can't get that feedback of emotion that we're used to. No picnics. We had no Christmas. We had no New Year's. The two events that we had was Fasai, the installation, and then the Girani's anniversary party. Those are the two that I went to since 2020. Those are the only I've gone to. I try not to go out a whole lot. And then Bernie's house, his wife and I were both in May, so I was over there for my birthday. And then I scuttled back home. I just try and stay really close to home base as possible because I deal with people. I deal with close to 1,000 people a day at our community. So I got to be very protective, and I talk to them through a glass window.
Mm-hmm.
So, we have to be on guard. It's not going away yet. So, and as much as I got my deal yesterday.
Well, I love the fact that also we're looking at different ways to reach out to people. I forget what month that was last year, where there was, I think that was probably June, the car parade for, was that Philippine Independence Day? And so I had participated in that, and I had showed that to my work. And it's like, hey, we can follow rules and still be able to gather in a way that's safe for everybody. Well, we were in cars, and so that was social distancing. But again, we still were able to show people what's important to us and what we're celebrating. But I hear where you're coming from, because I remember when I had started with Humana and I had met Mr. Benito, he would have the list of events and then he would email it. And it's just good to know, to plan ahead, what we can do. I had mentioned this previously. My son is now involved with NAFA as well. Well, he's involved with NAFA and he's vice president. And, I like it because now he has his own Filipino group. He started a club in Liberty. And then my kids, unfortunately, don't know how to speak Tagalog. And I tell people the reason why was because when I would get mad at my husband before, I would speak in Tagalog. But anyways, now we're teaching them Tagalog. Now we're talking to them in Tagalog. It's so important, right? And then again, I'm learning about all these different Filipino communities. Like I heard there's like dancing communities. He's planning to, when things are good, having a fiesta for all the different schools. So to see what you guys have established, what you guys have done here in Las Vegas, and then how the younger, community is learning from everything you've done. I think, Mr. Bernie, when I first met you, I said, make me your apprentice. I said, whatever you know, teach it to me.
Yeah.
Because he's in all these events, and I'm like,
Yep.
but how important. And again, the three of you, I'm so happy to be talking to you tonight. And just, you've done so much for the community. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Have they been in the Philippines, your kids?
Yes. I think 3 times or 4 times.
Oh, really? The whole family?
Yes, and their wish is to travel to the Philippines without me, because they say when the grandparents want to spoil them, I just say no, no, no all the time. But they've been to Boracay. They love Boracay.
Wow.
They can't believe how big the malls are in the Philippines, right?
Yeah.
You have like
And it's always packed.
Yes,
Yeah.
they were just amused by it and all. But I remember my son Mateo, when the first time I took him home, he was a baby, like he was 2 or 3 years old. In
Hmm.
Vegas, we don't have a family. So they're not used to like big gatherings. So when he got to the Philippines, like, who are these people? They're all my family, all of that. It was such a shock to them. But if we could go home to the Philippines every year, I know a lot of Filipinos here do that. We would, but no, we're not like that. We go home maybe every 4 years or 3 years.
That's
Hmm.
why we are imparting on all the parents, especially for the small kids, to to teach them how to speak our language and to know about heritage, our Filipino heritage, because it's so important. Just like what you're telling us right now, it seems like they're all strangers when they go to the Philippines. They're not familiar with our way of living. Unlike in
Mhm.
America. You know,
They
so
take great pride right now in being Filipinos, because um I'm gonna have to share this. My son, when he was in middle school, all of his friends, well, he was the only Filipino one. And somebody had said, well, why do you have a tan the whole year? Like, shouldn't you just be tan during the summer? And that made him question how different he is from other people and why they would question, his color. And that's why I took them to the Philippines. I want you to appreciate like where you're from, where your parents were born, because both my kids were born over here. But like right now, my kids are just really very proud to be Filipino Americans.
We have been talking about for the longest time when we've done different explorations of the history of the Filipinos. And I think years ago, when the families would come over, they wanted their children to assimilate into Western culture to be more accepted. I'm mestiza, so I experienced that growing up in the 50s, and people were not aware of the Filipinos, so everyone thought I was either Chinese or Hawaiian. So you want to keep grounded of who you are, where you came from, and you want to make sure you feel proud because now they're making people aware of the contribution that the Filipino people have done for the United States. It's never been publicized. It's never been made clear that we were part of the growth here in America. So look in your history books, and now the libraries need to start having books about the Filipino pilgrimage to the United States. A lot of people think, we just came here after World War II. No, we've been coming here since 1592 in different areas of the United States. And of course, they didn't state that they were Filipino because they were trying to come under the radar. But we have been here. We're from Illinois to Chicago to Rhode Island to Alaska. When I was traveling on the cruise ships, I came off on Juneau, Alaska, and I saw Alaska's Filipino Social Club. And I looked up and I was like, Filipino Social Club. Well, the history of that was during World War II, when the Japanese were taken out of the fish canneries, they brought in the Filipinos to run the fish canneries. And they interred the Japanese people. So the Filipinos liked Alaska and they stayed. And that's why you'll see a lot of people, you go, is he an Eskimo or is he a Filipino? Because the look is very similar. But your
Mhm.
children should always remember who they are, where they came from, and take pride in that.
I agree with you. Yes, 100%. And that's why, I mean, we took them to the Philippines as much as we can. Oh, it's so funny. My son, just a couple of months ago, I think they were talking about the Philippines as a third world country. And obviously, all they're showing is all the bad side of the Philippines. He comes to me, he's like, Mom, I can't believe it. They just said all the bad things about the Philippines. They don't know about Boracay or this or that. I mean, I know it sounds funny hearing it from a kid, but he's so passionate about making sure I tell people, no, what you see on TV is not everything that the Philippines is all about. right? There's so many amazing things about the Philippines, so many, beautiful things about it. So I think educating our children right here, right now is so important because they're the next generation. We want them to take pride in our culture and all the different things that we do.
But one of the things that, as a sort of a mission that we had in doing the Las Vegas Filipino Resource Guide, was not only to let the community know who's in business, what they do, what they offer, but the other communities who, American people are very curious, but if no one guides them, they'll stay in their own little cocoon. So now with the directory, it's opening it up to someone who'll say, well, you know something, I think I'll use Anna over at Humana. At least let me meet her and get a try, because now we're putting you in front of them. They can't ignore that.
I love that directory that we have because I personally use it. Whether you're looking for a food or a restaurant place to go to that's owned by a Filipino, a lawyer, an accountant, it's all in one place. I mean, I think it's just amazing. It's such a great idea. When I talk to my Filipino members, at the end of the day, some people feel more comfortable talking to a fellow Filipino because they can ask questions that probably they won't feel comfortable asking somebody else. Kasi mahiyain, di ba? If we talk to somebody else, like again, a lot of my senior clients, they get embarrassed to ask questions, and I tell them
Yes.
why. Ask questions.
That's
I always push them to ask questions. If they tell me I don't know what I signed up for, they just told me to sign, I said no. Ask questions. If somebody tells you to just sign, ask questions. And I wish we can educate, not just, we talk about educating the younger community, but let's educate our seniors as well to ask questions. Because I think some people, again, in our culture, nahihiya to ask a question because baka it will sound bastos or something, or, disrespectful. No, let's ask questions so you know what to do when an emergency happens and we're not there at the losing end because we didn't know, what options we had available for us.
Because what the negative side is of anyone, whether they're Filipino, Chinese, Laotian, any foreign person, are going to feel hesitant. They don't want to seem like they don't know. And sometimes
Mhm.
the
I
phraseology
agree.
is not in their language. Uh, I used to be in title and escrow, and in 2003, I brought about the first Filipino escrow units here in Las Vegas. And my key marketing brand was, here we speak your language. So I had Ilocano, Tagalog, Visayan, and
Nice.
my girls worked on Saturday so the whole family could be part of this buying of a house and finding out. And people would say to me, "Are there any Filipinos here?" Well, I did my study of the Filipino population. That's how I was able to grow it. And we were the first Filipino escrow units here in Las Vegas, 2003. All the Filipino mortgage lenders would use us. And even though we were on one side of the town, they traveled because I said, here, we speak your language. And they could ask whatever question they want in their language.
Very nice. Yes. Giving people options, right? You're absolutely correct. Not just Filipinos. I mean, what I like about my job is now we have somebody who speaks Chinese as well, different languages. Again, the importance of understanding what it is you're signing up for because health insurance is important. I tell these to clients, you're not buying a bag, you're not buying shoes, you're buying something that can save your life one day or something that you need to help you live the healthy life that you must have, right? So I love the fact that different companies are giving people options by making sure that if you feel more comfortable speaking another language, that's available to you at no cost.
And do you find that because seniors sometimes in stress, they revert back to speaking their native tongue. So you need someone there to pick up on that, because when they're nervous, they may forget all the English they ever learned and go back to their mother tongue.
I mean, I think what I'm noticing is exactly what you said. Maybe they don't want to feel like they're incompetent or they don't know. So even if they don't understand, they're saying yes to things they don't understand. And then
Exactly.
something happens, you get hospitalized, and well, I didn't know. Nobody explained it to me, and all of that. And so in my business card, I always say, some people make fun of me because I put over there can speak Tagalog. I said, no, I want them to know that when they see it, that I can speak Tagalog to them and, you know, be able to explain it. Sometimes, though, I have to say this, some Filipinos get offended when they see that because they
Right.
said, exactly. Somebody came up to me and was so upset, and she says, every Filipino knows how to speak English. And that's not it, though. We're not disregarding you speaking English and all. We just want to make sure you know that if you need to speak to somebody in Tagalog, that there's somebody who can speak to you in Tagalog and explain it to you in a language that you're familiar with.
And I'm
So,
sure, especially with the senior parent, if their children are trying to get them to the doctor or something, and no, 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 I don't want to see the doctor, because they feel already they're not going to be able to relate how they feel precisely. But if you say, Mommy, they speak Tagalog, oh, it's like you just said the magic word. So now they know
exactly. You
that.
know, one thing that I also push for all my clients, not just Filipinos, but everyone as well, one of the things we ask is who is the decision maker in your family, right? Because a lot of seniors live with their children as well. So we want to make sure they understand what their plan benefits are. Because again, if something were to happen and your parent had to go to the hospital, we want to make sure that the children know what options are available to them, what hospitals are covered, and all of that. So again, in our culture, it's normally the whole family that makes a decision, right? So
Mhm.
I always tell them, who else do you want in this meeting? Let's get everybody together so we can answer all your questions.
Correct.
We haven't heard from you, Gilbert.
Yeah, I'm just like I'm listening to all this stuff. I mean, because we had a death in the family just because of this COVID. My grandmother's sister, Grandma Go, just passed away last night because of COVID. And yeah, it comes to the part where who's going to pay for the bill, and I got a call from the family, and they're like, "Oh, you need to talk to your grandma's doctor and this and that if your grandma doesn't feel good too." And I'm like, "My gosh, I don't even know where to start." So that's why I'm just listening into what you guys are talking about, and it's something that I think everybody is afraid to ask is the questions like this. Like questions like, "What's next? Who's going to pay for the bill?" I'm here in Las Vegas, and grandma's out there in Maryland. I really, there's not that much that I can do.
Yes.
So that's why there's a lot of questions that are up in the air right now. So that's why listening to what you guys are talking about, it's like I think everybody will be educated by this actual program of we're talking about.
It's okay, Gilbert, because most of the topic is for us, seniors. You're still a young guy, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but you know what? Our time is going by really fast, and you never know. They say 10 years goes by really fast.
Yes, yes, I
So it's
know.
better to know earlier than it is to know it later. Because a lot of
Right.
the seniors
Yes.
nowadays, they don't even know what Medicare and Medicaid is.
They
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah, and they're afraid to ask. Just like I got a call earlier from a Filipino client. Well, because I was speaking in English, and later on, I could hear that she's a Filipina, and I just started speaking Tagalog, and she was like, "Oh, oy, salamat, marunong pala kayo mag-Tagalog." So, but she was asking for some questions on for things that in general, general things like who do you know that knows how to do notary, that knows how to read Tagalog. And I'm like, hold on for a minute, I gotta call Tita Bernie. Yeah, so I gave your
That's right.
information earlier. Yeah, but
Yeah.
but she was able to call the Las Vegas Filipino Resource Guide hotline number, 702-944-7620. They called me, I answered it, and of course I dispatched the call over to you. But but anything and everything that has to do with businesses and stuff like that out here in Las Vegas, yes, we have it. We have most of it. We cover most of it. The Las Vegas Filipino Resource Guide.
Yeah, and
Gilbert, yeah.
and if it's not in the Las Vegas Resource Guide, I am the what you call that, the 555 or the information center for
Yeah,
Filipinos.
what's the 411 actually?
That's true though, right?
Yeah, but this is so awesome. Like like I said, I'm just listening in to what you guys are talking about, and like I said, it's these are questions like you. It's really true. We always say yes, but we don't know what we're signing up for.
Right.
It's really true. Yeah,
And
because
when
I
you think
myself I
about
can
it,
contest to that too.
it's
Yeah.
not just the seniors. Exactly, Gilbert.
Yeah,
It can happen to us too. Maybe
Yeah.
sometimes we get afraid to ask. And I love how Miss Loni had really mentioned that. Like, we do not want to seem incompetent, right? So
right.
we just agree with everyone. But I think what I really want to share with all the other Filipinos out there is the time, like, they're so used to us just keeping quiet and not asking questions. I guess
Exactly.
it's time to really ask questions,
Hmm.
right? And not just saying yes to everything. And I hope we can encourage that in our community because it's
Yeah,
important.
We're
it
very
is.
agreeable,
Yes.
and that people's, and we've been saying this for some of our Filipino friends that have gone into running for office. People were not used to seeing that because we're not aggressive in their eyes. And in fact, it was Joe Tinio when he was running for office, and he was out there and he was very vocal. And they were not used to seeing someone to be so vocal because they're always used to seeing that we're agreeable and docile. And I said, no, the year of the quiet Filipino is not existing anymore.
Right.
We have a voice. Filipino lives matter. We have a voice. We have designations where we want to be, and we want to be perceived by the mainstream public of we're not just cooks and we're not just entertainers. We have a whole span of vocations and businesses that we do. That's why we could be part of your community. We're not just the one-sided, one-dimension person because you think we're Filipino, all we do is sing karaoke and eat adobo. But the American person out there probably thinks that until they see the resource guide and they see we are in hospitals, we're medical, we're food, we're in everything. And all the business want to show they have a Filipino in their
Right.
staff.
Yes.
They know that attract.
That's the
Yeah.
reason why, Anna, we put this up, the Las Vegas Filipino Resource Guide with PHL Radio, to invite all the guests that we have so that we can disseminate, we can, explain the issues that affects us all, not only the Filipino American, and it's really helpful, just like yourself, explaining to the public, to the listening public, and to us also, what are these things are about your business, about Medicare, about anything, any issues that we can talk about, So that's why we thank you so much for coming over and be our guest. And please plug your information so that the listening viewers will know about your information. Go ahead.
You,
So
Anna.
all I'm asking again, if you have friends or family members who have Medicare and they want to discuss options that they have, I'm a licensed sales agent here in Nevada. I work for Humana. I tell people I'm pretty honest and upfront with you. My goal is to make sure we discuss plan options with you. If you have family or if you have friends who are moving here to Vegas, it's a special enrollment period when they're moving from another state. Have them talk to me. I've lived in Las Vegas for 17 years. Also, if you're just not sure about something, we don't pressure people to sign up with us. We want to make sure we educate and we give you options. And thank you really for the opportunity. Thank you for allowing me to be here. And the resource guide, I actually have them at our guidance centers. And we have so many Filipino members who go there and they take so much pride seeing that and seeing the businesses. So I love that you said you're adding more to it this year. And I think it's really something that will help a lot of people who maybe are just moving to town. They need, maybe they need to look for a doctor. And I had mentioned I want to introduce you to some Filipino doctors as well. It's amazing how this Filipino American community in Las Vegas is really growing, right? Different backgrounds, different job opportunities. So thank you for putting that together.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And we'll see you again sometime. Okay.
Thank you. All right.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Okay, well, this is Las Vegas Filipino Resource Guide radio show here on PHLV Radio. We're going to be here again next week, every Thursday, 6 p.m. Las Vegas time. Thank you so much. And you can catch us, of course, on Facebook, YouTube, Amazon Fire TV, and, of course, the Alexa app. And you can get us on your iPhone or your Android phone. Okay. Don't forget, we also have this recorded on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and of course, once again, the Amazon Fire TV, YouTube, and Facebook. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Another episode.
Good night.
Yes.
Good night.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night.
Thank you, Gilbert.
Good night. Thank you.
Johan, thank you again.
The Las Vegas Filipino Resource Guide is a vital tool and a helpful media outlet for business enterprises to connect and to reach out to Filipino American consumers. For more information, go to www.lasvegasfrg.com or you can email at lasvegasfrg@gmail.com.